What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage down here at the bottom of the screen. Sin is above me, jokes is above me, and you are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today we're gonna recap Big Lit Comic Con. We're gonna talk about Keanu Reeves. We're gonna discuss Ninja Turtles. We're gonna talk about Gen Z. More to come. Not gonna tell you what. Before we get into that, I want to start by saying, Jokes, I'm glad you're here. I like it when you're here on time.
I appreciate that.
I'm glad. You know what I mean? I just feel like it makes the show better when you're here at the start. I just wanted to say that. Get that out of my system. You know what I'm saying? Since you're here, Jokes.
Yes, sir.
You got a job to do. What up, Cuddy? Jokes is gonna get that Beacons link up for those of you who are in the chat. You know, again, best way to follow us across our socials, which are busier than they have been. Recent activity has seen an incline in that. Hey, Kai. Jokes, if you could also grab the link and share the link for our merch site. I want to remind everyone that our autism shirts are still live and available. And during Autism Month, we will be donating the proceeds of what is purchased to help the fight to build awareness around autism. Sin.
Yes, sir.
You got a job to do.
Yes, let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis M. Bay, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate it.
It's a fact. We really do.
Yeah.
That's an understatement, Cuddy.
Days for him. Send her hugs. No Diddy. I mean, listen.
No
one,
Diddy.
we're not letting that become. I've heard it a few times.
It's too late.
What up, Dr. Who? Sue, Sin always needs a hug. Just so you're aware. So when you see him, Cuddy, feel free. Don't ask. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just get right to it. Just go ahead and violate me. That's all.
I didn't like the way that.
I don't know if that's why I was out of violation. I don't. You know what I mean? Like you need it.
Maybe I don't want to be touched in that moment.
Nah, but you need it.
Like,
no Diddy. Hey, listen, the no Diddy goes right into with that one.
Leave it alone, Joke. Who? Big Lit Comic-Con Nova. We made the amazing trek through DMV traffic, which is a feat. I don't know if you know.
It is.
That's a feat. All the way out to Chantilly, Dulles.
Right.
To Comic-Con. If those of you who watched the show last week, we had the owner and creative director for Big Lick on the show. We had a really good conversation. I highly suggest that if you didn't see it, you go back and take a look. It was really cool to have him on and just kind of get into the headspace of what it's like to try to build a convention like that, and where he came from and all that kind of stuff. But we made the trek, went down Saturday, Sunday. I won't speak for Sin and Jokes, but I had a really good time. Enjoyed myself. and I won't get into other details currently. But Sin,
Yes,
yo,
sir. Yeah, I'm good.
you sure? You seem distracted.
I was putting the shirt in the cart so I didn't forget.
Oh,
That's what
it's
I
too
was
late.
I'm about to
doing.
say you did put it in the cart before and
Yeah,
forgot.
I
So
was saying like I don't,
Doesn't mean I won't forget again, but I was doing it while I was at the front of my mind. That's what I was doing.
mm, got it. Yeah, thoughts on Big Lick Nova.
uh, I enjoyed Big Lick. Different convention for us. Yes, it was a trek to get there, but we're kind of used to running around DMV at this point, going to these places, so not that big of a deal. But I enjoyed it. Like, it was packed both days. People seemed to be really excited to see the turtles. It was good, kind of seeing all of them there together, and people's excitement built around it. Met some new vendors, made some new friends. Like, it was all around like a good time. Very cool vibe. Like, no shenanigans from what I could tell, what I could see. Just overall, really good con, a really good vibe. I enjoyed myself.
Jokes.
I think Sin honestly ditto what Sin said. 100% had a great time. As usual, whenever we go to a convention like a Gage, I know you went last year. Not necessarily we didn't go in the full capacity as what we did this time, but meeting new people. It's always with us. Trying to build network, talk to new people. Of course, talk to some folks we had already have run into at different conventions. But overall, the atmosphere of Big Lick was absolutely amazing. Positivity all around. Kind of like the setup. The place is it's a decent size. By all means, it's not a Washington Convention Center type thing, but it's big enough where you can have decent amount of space and still have all of the different things that you could possibly look for in the con. So I think it was put together very well. Since that, everyone was there for the turtles. Um, because it's a rare feat that, well, let me say it have the turtles in April at a con together. So a lot of people flock to make sure that they could be a part of that experience.
Yep. Look, really solid guest lineup. Karen Parsons, Tatiana Ali from Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Um, five of the original voice actors from Ninja Turtles, one of whom has voiced two turtles in two different shows. Rob Paulson voicing Yakko, Pinky, uh, Maurice LaMarche, Brain, and Egon from Ghostbusters. Like, just a really solid lineup. Um, Wrestlers Scott Steiner, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Like, from across the room, you could hear people going, "Oh!" Like, you could just hear it. You know what I mean? It was just, like, it was just kind of cool.
It kind of rivaled
Um,
us yelling out "Big Lick." It's like there's not we don't go to many conventions where there's something else that, well, maybe rivals not the word, but
yeah, that's not the word for it, because we the
we,
champs.
we run that.
Um, that's kind of true. Um, yeah, look, we have some content coming your way. Um, had the opportunity to sit down and have a short conversation with Cal Dodd, who is the voice of Wolverine from X-Men 97 and the original Fox run X-Men cartoons, as well as like Wolverine and Marvel versus Capcom and so forth. Really just genuine, super nice guy. Um, I'll be honest, secretly working on trying to get some other content with Cal in the future. Um, but just a really good opportunity to kind of sit down and talk to him. That interview is live now on YouTube. It's not live everywhere else yet, but it will be um, like an hour and a half, give or take, when the show's over. Um, yeah, just again, just a really good convention. Got to talk to a lot of artists that, again, we're familiar with, but that we maybe shot interviews with once or twice before, but it had been a while, like
Yeah.
Jay
Hmm.
Saunders. I just, I want to say that this convention We talk a lot about how often we do conventions, like not just how often we do them, but how long like we've been doing them.
Yeah.
But this convention in particular made me feel like, oh, like dog, we're the OGs. Like I know we've been doing it for a long time, and we know it, but this joint was like, nah, like we're really
Yeah.
the OGs. Um, it's
It's
a
crazy
weird
to
thing to
think
say.
about. Like
It's
when you
not
when
a
I hear
it,
you put it that way, it's just crazy to think about. Like yeah, like we're out there giving advice and we kind of already know the layouts and how things go to just maneuver through everything. Like it's
The behind the curtain stuff that a lot of
yeah.
people don't know about, and it's like,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, we have a lot of inside baseball. Um, and it's not even really that it's secrets. It just comes from experience and being around. But it's just I like meeting people, meeting really, really talented artists with pretty decent table setups that are like, oh yeah, this is like my second convention ever. Like
mhm,
honestly, meeting people at the start of what feels like if they do this right, is going to be
mhm,
a very solid career. Like we're meeting them for the first time
mhm,
on their upward trajectory. Um, is the kind of thing that like I remember having with like Brian Turner and Jerry Gaylord
mhm,
10, 12 years ago, give or take. Um, so just seeing that kind of stuff and having really good conversations with people about, people specifically ask us, even when they don't know how much we know, what conventions they should be looking forward to, what ones they should attempt to get into, which ones are really gonna be worth it.
Hmm.
Hey, ma. Um, and we tend to have some good ideas, but not just that. Like people have started to lean on us for like, well, what type of artwork should I be making to bring to these kind of conventions, and you know, kind of setting up their arsenals to have really good shows where they go. It's yeah, we old. Um, we had some
what
good
up,
snacks. What
Fausty?
up,
Hey, Frosty,
Frosty? Um, we had some good snacks.
we
Met some
did
new chocolate people, man.
did.
I you want to talk? You want to talk about that a little bit, Sin?
With the snacks,
Oh, well, specifically the chocolate.
that dirt cake fire.
Oh no, I wasn't even talking
You
about
want
that.
to talk about that?
I'm talking about the moonshine chocolate, bro. You're like stay with us.
Ah,
That moonshine chocolate.
that was fire.
Um,
I haven't touched it yet. It's they're relaxing in the fridge. I'll get to those later.
Jokes got a bunch of
Mm,
meat sticks. From what is it? Dirty Run
mm-hmm.
jerky. They were cool.
Pretty good,
Um,
dude.
like 2 foot licorice. Demolish almost half a pound of fudge. Frosty. You're gonna be upset with yourself, and I don't want to hear it later.
When it's
But you know what? You
gone,
earned it, and you deserve it. Um,
100%.
look, we had a really, really good panel. Um, again, doing the being comfortable being a geek panel, it seems like regardless of the number of people that show up is kind of crazy. Cuddy said, "Y'all just seasoned the top $10. There's levels to this." I'm not gonna disagree, Cuddy. I'm not gonna disagree. Like it just, um, Frosty
Uh-oh.
said, "I'm gonna text you about how this I am later." I can't wait to hear this story because you could have texted me all day and didn't.
Nah, waited specifically to show. Just say, I'm going to let you know
Yeah,
later.
yesterday, Sunday, like you could have let me know anytime. So I'm just gonna be sitting on the edge waiting for my phone to go off. Um, yeah, like we had a really good panel. Um, people started to kind of draw in. It's different from the way we normally do panels because our
Mm-hmm.
panels are usually off somewhere in a room behind a closed door. It is generally more of a destination thing. You kind of have to know what's happening, look for it, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
go
Yeah.
away from the main show floor to do it. This was literally on a stage that's like open to everyone. And so I'm gonna be honest, completely comfortable on the stage, but
Mm-hmm.
a little concerning about what that means for drawing a crowd because we're also it's one thing to be the very first panel. It's another thing to be the very first thing on stage, technically the very first thing that's
Mm-hmm.
happening at the convention. You're basically opening the convention. You are kicking it off, starting it off. So a couple of things about that. One, a shout out and thank you to Frosty for coming and joining us on stage.
Mm,
Andrew said, evening
Ooh.
peeps, running tab behind. Sorry, dealing with gallbladder attack. Happens from time to time. Listen,
Hey,
sorry
no
to hear that.
worries
you don't need to apologize to us
at
for being
all.
late
Yeah.
because your gallbladder made a choice that you didn't have any say in.
Nah, you good. The
Whew.
fact that you're still here
Um,
with us right now talking, like,
Yeah.
hey, appreciate it.
that's a big deal. I wish you nothing but the speediest of recoveries and healings, Andrew. Um, yeah, so thank you to Frosty for joining us.
Absolutely.
And for it is more difficult than people may realize to open yourself to being honest about life, bullying, and so forth in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frosty said I had so much fun with you guys. Thanks for having me. Of course. I'm glad it was fun because again, it can be very daunting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep it a buck. There are some plays in place when we do a panel like that, but I don't I don't write anything. There's not, you know, we just kind of do it because I prefer for it to be a little more natural and
Mm-hmm.
kind of roll with the punches, see what the crowd is doing and talking about, and bringing somebody different basically every time we do that panel to be on the panel so that we get an idea of what their experiences were like, and how they may have differed from our own or from the other people in the crowd is part of what that panel is about. But it is also about literally in the moment getting
Mm-hmm.
people to be comfortable with opening up, with speaking, with talking, with feeling like they're in a safe space, those kinds of things. Frosty said it was a little scary at first, but being with you guys helps. I'm comfortable with you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I will say that it's surprising, kind of, how often that comes up. Not just doing like a panel, but like even just doing interviews, like walking up to people and kind of like shocking them into being like, let's just talk about this. Let's put you in front
That's
of a
it.
camera.
Being like,
Let's talk. Let's whatever, and having people be like, I don't, I don't do this. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. We do. So we got you. You know
we
what I mean?
got you.
We get those all the time.
Um,
Yeah.
And just helping them walk through it. Like, listen, ignore like normally I'm the one that has the cameraman has like ignore him and like talk to you or talk to whichever one of you is doing the interview.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about him. We'll be
Very
perfectly
quick.
fine.
We're just gonna have just a relax, just a regular conversation like this right here. Nothing more.
Hey,
Like,
and most of the time, once depending on whatever con we're at, and we yell that con out, that kind of breaks the glass because then they start to laugh, and then the conversation kind of just goes from there. They introduce themselves, and we're off to the races.
yeah, I mean for sure. That's solid 90 minutes. That's the other thing that makes me a little nervous in that kind of space, right?
okay.
45 minutes is way too short. 90
Hmm.
minutes I'm comfortable with. But again, when you have no idea, again, people are kind of just walking by
Hmm.
trying to shop and whatever, and you just have these seats, and there's some people sitting in them, and
Right.
let's fix this, and some are not. Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the time it's over, like the seats are basically full. People are listening, raising their hands, participating, and way more people are comfortable. And there are still a lot of people who are not comfortable raising their hand or saying anything in front of the crowd or taking the microphone and speaking, even Though they do it sometimes when I put them on the spot, and I do it. I do. I put people on the spot. But more importantly, the number of people who came up to us after the panel Saturday
during
and
the
Sunday,
con,
and not
just
like not
randomly
just like
walking around.
immediately after it, but like just like out later to have people come up and be like, "Yo, that panel was a great panel. I'm glad I missed part of it. I came in closer to the end, but even the stuff that you guys were talking about made me feel better. You really hit a point and it resonated with me about like hiding doing this kind of thing from my friends at work, or somebody comes up to me later and gives me a whole spiel about how they feel completely different about gatekeeping than I do. That's cool. Let's open the dialogue. Let's have a conversation. Like it tells me we're doing the right kinds of things. Bigger than that though, again, I went to the convention last year just kind of on a whim. Spoke to JD again at AwesomeCon just kind of on a whim. Hey, one day it'd be cool if we did the panel at your convention. And he's just kind of like, oh, you mean the one in like a month?
I was talking to one like August, a little bit.
I mean, I was just saying like one day, like I wasn't even, but cool. But we had some interaction with JD. We'd see him out there or whatever. We're talking to people and just doing what we do. Before we left the convention, we were kind of stacking up at the door. We were actually waiting for Sin to wash his hands. And yeah, I couldn't help it. And JD like literally comes from kind of like the back area, walks past us and stops and says, hey, will you guys come to all my conventions?
Like,
sure. Because you guys' energy, like I just love the vibe and the energy. All right, cool. He was like, really, seriously, thank you so much. All right, cool. I guess we're going to Roanoke. And I guess, you know what I mean? Which is cool, right?
That was one of the things that hit me over the weekend. He wasn't the first person to talk about our energy. Like
not
people seeing us on stage, it was plenty of people saying how much they like us three, like our energy and how we interacted with each other and all that kind of stuff. And that was the first time I've heard that. Like I've heard the stuff about how we help people with being comfortable and all that kind of stuff. But people just saying our energy between us was so great that they just loved it and vibe with it. That was the first time I was like, oh, that's okay, y'all really rocking with us out here. Okay, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's something to be said for the concept again of kind of trying to keep things organic. Kai said, "Bravo, guys! Proud of the impact that you all are making in the con space. Thank you much.
Appreciate it."
Yeah. Again, are we going to OC anime?
Anime OC? Nah, I think that one's a little bit out of the bucket. We talked about it.
They did just announce,
yeah,
Anime Fairfax by the same people, which is literally in the same building, in the same place that Big Lick was. That's October. There's a good chance that one is the one that we make our way to. But I don't think we're gonna make Anime Ocean City, though we considered it. The problem with Anime Ocean City is that it originally fell on the same dates as Nerdpocalypse. We were already locked in for Nerdpocalypse, but then the proprietor of Nerdpocalypse decided to move Nerdpocalypse to not, so that it wouldn't specifically be the same weekend as Anime Ocean City. And then we kind of started, we ended up doing Big Lick and whatever, and it just kind of threw things off. So, I'd like to. But there's a part of me that feels like we belong there. It just hasn't worked itself out yet. So we'll figure something out. But I can tell you that it's not. I'm not gonna be there. I can't speak for what they're gonna do. Because every now and again, on a whim, like I'll shoot to a con because I get a week or a day or something like that, and I'll be like, let me just go check it out and do some networking.
And it could happen. We just show up there and
yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, I like keeping what we do pretty organic, and us just being able to to be honest, in a lot of ways, the conversations that we have when we're doing something like what we're doing right now are very much like the conversations we have when y'all are not here. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
it really mostly is
we
just
just hit
us
record and go live.
in a way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Again, there's an outline. Like I have an outline,
Of course, yes.
but like I was actually saying this. I actually said to somebody while we were at the convention, even though I had never told them, meaning Sin and Jokes, this before. But like I look at this show and a lot of the other things that we do like an RPG. So if you're familiar with playing role-playing games, there is what is considered the golden path. It is the game starts and there's an ending, and you can just go straight to the ending, right? You can just play that portion of it and ignore all the side quests. But the plan is we're very likely going to go off the rails. As a matter of fact, this conversation we're having right now
Is off the
is
rails.
not, yeah, it's off the rails. But that's part of the point, is that the side quests are the things that fill out the adventure. They're the things like we're going to get, the show is going to end. We're going to get to the end of the show. We will hit the
Mm-hmm.
topics along the way. Something might get pushed to next week, or, something might fall off altogether. But like we'll get to the end. It just is right, Frosty, every time. That's what it is. Like, and I view the way that we do this, I try to make it as honest and open and realistic as possible, because I just feel like that's what life is. Life is that golden path of the RPG, and then there are these other things that you go off and you do, things that you end up liking that you didn't know you would like, people you meet you never thought you'd meet, places you go.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all the side quests, the things that are optional. They're not necessarily part of that main path when you choose school or a career or whatever it is. It's all the other stuff that like fills in the blanks and makes the experience whole. And that's kind of how it is. Cuddy said, "Y'all didn't know you had big energy, all rising." No, that's true. Hey, listen,
Hey, bro, is that how we just gonna start showing up places? Man? Just come, just walk in the door,
just raise
just
the one. Just raise one to
I'm
disperse.
not, I'm
acknowledge
not,
us.
Disperse.
I'm not joining.
Hey, is
I do
that
like it though.
we if like the top 10 finisher panel gets approved, I feel like that's how we're gonna go in there and kick the show off.
Uh-oh. Bigger
Hey,
question,
listen.
Jokes. Power Morphicon.
Hey, listen. I so badly want to go to Power Morphicon. Power Morphicon is another one that is in August, and our August is
August is
absolutely
bad.
is packed.
Not over the
Like
sunset. Sarsaparilla.
that's but I'm having plans to try to do one of the small, like the Power Ranger pop up ones that they do
They have
here
them.
on the East Coast, some like in Atlanta, something like that. That'll be a little bit easier to get to. I wish Power Morphicon would move around, but it's in Cali, so that's always one thing too. But August this year is just packed. So
I mean, I do have the Loading Snacks Championship belt within view. I could go get it, but I'm not. Yeah, look, we just added like apparently we just added a Pokemon convention.
yep.
You know what I'm
Apparently.
saying?
Yeah.
Plus technically 2 big licks to the, you know what I'm saying? Because
Big lick.
Big
Big
Lick
hit.
does 3. They do Nova, but they do 2 in Roanoke.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. And again, keep in mind, there's just 4 of us. Mostly you see 3 of us. It's just 4 of us. So it's a lot. It's a lot to do. So we're doing what we can to maintain. I think we've like I think this convention we literally slid directly into like Big Brother status for like a lot of people. Like we just did. It was just like, oh, you should go to these conventions, do these things, hit these people up. This is what you want to do. Oh, this is probably the artwork you should really have, for doing these certain things. Man, it would go crazy if you did A, B, and C. Here's what happened when we told so and so to do A, B, and C, and they did it. You know what I mean? Like it just, it's kind of weird. To have to like I always feel like we meet so many new people every time we do a convention. And I know we run into tons of people we know, but then we'll be talking to somebody we never met. And then somebody who we do know will walk past who knows them or just met them. And then they'll say, oh, these guys know everybody.
Yeah.
But like we just met you. Like we don't know, like you know
Y'all
what I
are
mean?
Right.
Like it's just
everywhere.
things, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of it. Look, it's just a thing we enjoy doing. We have a really good time doing it. There was a lot to see. I'll be honest, we didn't shoot a lot of interviews. We become a little more picky about what we shoot. Just because of what our time is like. Um, we're trying to do a lot of other stuff in terms of creating content and this kind of stuff. Just does a lot. Yeah, LS Consulting
Yeah,
Inc. And we'll just
that's
fold it in under
it's.
the
I was gonna
LLC.
say it's under the LLC already. So
Yeah. Yeah. So Big League was dope. I had a really good time. Really enjoyed it. Everybody was great. The guests were great, gracious. Maybe there were some tears, sort of somewhere. Please go check out the Cal Dye interview. It's linked in the description. Just so you know. I had a good time talking to Cal. He's
hey, listen,
pretty
Cal was
awesome.
cool. He was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool dude. Listen, let's pivot briefly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I don't think it's that important, but I feel like it should be brought up. Shadow the Hedgehog. Keanu Reeves is voicing Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic 3. A couple of things. One, I don't think we need a Sonic 3. That's just I get it. And I've not seen the movies. I don't care. But I know they're popular. Like they do well. They make money, which is cool. So I get it. I understand why we're getting a third one. What I don't understand is why the internet is so excited about Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow the Hedgehog. Have y'all seen this?
Most
I've
certainly
seen this,
have.
yeah.
Did I miss something?
I think
I
that's
just think it's cool. I just think
it's a
it's
Sonic
cool.
thing.
I honestly I don't even remember Shadow's voice in the games or anything, or if he really even talked enough to warrant the voice behind it. But hey, listen, if the likes of Keanu is going to voice it, I'm interested to see what they do with it.
If the Sonic fans and Shadow fans are happy, fine.
Then good.
Doesn't
Listen,
matter to
listen.
me. Then
That's all that matters.
kudos
If
to
the
y'all.
Sonic,
If that makes y'all happy, kudos.
I mean, look, the Idris Elba Knuckles joint comes out like next week.
yeah,
Wait, it might be this week.
You may
The
be right.
show,
Hold up.
Yeah.
the TV show.
Yeah, let me see.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that joint's not getting a spoiler, boys. It's not happening.
I'm not watching that.
I'm not doing it.
I'm good.
But I'm glad people are happy. Like I'm glad people
Yeah.
are getting something they want and they're happy about it. It's cool. Yeah, that joint is like this week or
It
next week. It will be. Are you excited for Knuckles? Jokes. Uh-oh.
I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got a little bit of a delay now.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
I don't know what happened. My headset deleted. But no, I'm actually excited. After watching the trailer for it, I was like, I'm intrigued.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm you let me know how it turns out.
I sure will. Let me look and see.
I'm not going. Let's pivot again. But let's keep talking about movies. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, is getting an R-rated live action adaptation. It's currently in development. Before I get into details, Sim, what are your thoughts?
I'm excited. I'm excited at the idea. Let me put it like that. Whether it's executed well or not, I'm excited as far as seeing this come to live action. I don't know the concept of the last Ronin run, like interests me. I didn't read it, but it really does interest me. So seeing them doing something different with Ninja Turtles in like a visual, animated, or live action like way is cool to me to see something different, and it makes me want to look at it instead of just I don't know seeing the usual kind of to me.
Did you watch the last movie? The
Uh,
animated movie that came out with Ice Cube?
no, I didn't watch that one. Even though I know you said it was good, but I didn't watch that one
No.
yet.
So you're not really intrigued that much then, because it got a new animated style that's Ninja Turtles, and you didn't you
Yeah,
ain't see it.
but this one is rated R, so
Ah,
I'm way
There
more
it is.
interested.
now we're getting
I'm way
see
more
now.
interested.
There it is.
And
That's what I was looking
it's
for.
death and carnage. Like this is right up my alley. The turtles are dead. Only one of them survived. Which one is it? Okay, sign me up for that train. I'm on that. Let me see how this turns out. Yeah, it's more my
Jokes.
speed.
That Sin hit it right. Like the rated R, because when they first announced it, and the fact that it was going to be done by Nickelodeon, it was a little like, oh, Nickelodeon's going to end up, really making this more of a kid
Well, it's Paramount, which owns Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. So, but originally when they announced it, it was specifically like tied to Nickelodeon directly, and I guess probably since then they've done a little bit of a shift. So at that time it was like, okay, they're going to water this down. But now hearing, it's rated R, uh, it sounds like they're going to be able to explore truly what happened in the Ronin comic. Which same sin, I didn't read it. I have the first issue. I just never. I'm not the biggest
Crack to
turtle
see it.
fan. I think it'd be the way to say it. Similar, we've had this conversation before. I didn't grow up on the turtles, but I respect the turtles. So,
Oh, hey dog, listen,
and you know what?
we
If
got
I start
we got some
watching,
short life.
I've seen the original. So obviously, I've seen the original movies. I've seen all of them, good, bad,
Yeah,
and they're indifferent.
Talk about crumpet.
but
you gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
but
But I get it back.
Get
just
it back.
knowing the story like of what the last Ronin is
Mhm.
and what
Mhm.
potential could come out of this and include in the world, the universe, if they decide to expound on it even more, I'm interested to see, especially with the rated R. Like, just because it's rated R, like you automatically assume, super blood, gore, cursing, whatever it may
The
be.
boys.
But I feel like just making it rated R just it takes those shackles off a little bit more, so maybe you can do more necessarily with some of that and a lot of other things as well too. So I'm just eager to see if it's done. It's hard for me to say if it's done right without having read it just yet, but I feel like they won't have as many shackles being rated R for it.
So I I did read it. It's one. It should be rated R.
Hmm.
Like, and we're not talking like Daredevil on Netflix rated R. This joint needs to be like
Put your kids to
I am the
bed.
last. I am the last surviving, and I will avenge. I will avenge my
See,
brothers. Like
that's what I like.
this joint
That's what I like.
needs to be rated R.
Like John Wick, you kill my puppy, I'm killing everybody.
Um,
Oof.
it's. I mean, essentially, it's real. Like it's. The thing about it is, for me, Ninja Turtles is very watered down to begin with,
Hmm.
to a certain extent. Cuddy said, "Gotta love jokes. He brings diversity to the crew. We'll never understand how he likes Power Rangers, but can't get in this. It's
I
not that
wouldn't
he
say
didn't
it's
get into
never,
it.
yeah,
It
because
just
like
they're different eras. It's
in
just
different
like
exposures. So, because like
by
obviously, I saw the movies when I was super young, so I've watched since then. I've watched them numerous times, but I'm trying to think what my
this
real
is this
inner.
is this is this is what you need to know, Cuddy. I can fix this very easily. Jokes.
Hmm.
What year were you born?
89.
While we were at Big Lick, part of the big draw of the convention for people was that for the first time, all four of the turtles and April were at the same place. All the voice actors were together in the same place, and it was listed as the TMNT 87 reunion. That cartoon was 2 years before Jokes was born, bro. Before he was born. By the time Jokes was cognizant of what was actually on TV, Ninja Turtles was pretty fluke.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna keep it a buck. They was doing
Live
like the
action is what
live
I saw
action joint
first.
with
That was my
Venus
first.
the Might, like that with the girl, like bro, like by the time
And of course, you know what?
he
I'm gonna say this because then this will probably make you throw up. And then really after that live action one, the next live action that I saw was when the turtles were in Power Rangers in space. So that was
right,
when
which
they
is
added the
which is
girl in.
That's what it
mhm,
did.
And
It was that
they'd already
marriage.
done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it really is just like a different era. However, this is the thing: the animated show, it was a good show. Like I enjoyed the show. Super watered down compared to what the comics were. Like I read the black and white comics where like when they put out a graphic novel and that joint had color, like you recognize that like the turtles all wear red bandanas. Raphael not cool. I think that's one of the reasons why Raphael was never a big deal to me. I think people liked Raph. They say it's the attitude. I think it's the bandana. I think that the red bandana immediately made him more cool. People like Ryu over Ken. You know what I mean? Gave the bandana to him. He had the bandana at first. Like it's a thing. Like Daniel LaRusso bandana joint. Like it just. I think people assume you got the blood red joint. You know what I mean? Like yeah, there's tough talk. Blah blah blah. But nah, bro. Like in the comics, they all wore red bandanas. The colors were put into the animated show so kids could tell them apart more easily. And could pick a favorite. And a lot of people pick their favorites based on their favorite colors. It's either that or it was their weapon. It wasn't necessarily their personalities. Then people decided they liked the personalities after they did all of that. Because you don't know their personalities when you first see them, you know? So in the comics, bro, these are teenage boys from New York. They're basically black teenagers in New York that live in the sewer. They talk like New Yorkers. They curse and they stab people. Like they don't like.
Sounds like a teen in New York to me.
Yeah, they not. You know, like mousers are a thing, but like if you watch the cartoon, that's the only thing they ever really cut up or destroyed was like the robot joints and foot soldiers, bruh. Slim. Them dudes was dying in the streets. You hear me? Andrew said we had the 2003 Turtles. They did Spider-Verse before Spider-Verse. I mean, yeah, look, that computer animated TMNT joint, incredible, bro. It's incredible. It's incredible. The fight scene alone between Raph and Leo in the rain on the rooftop is incredible. And April got hands in that joint. And I was watching that joint like, where April get hands from? I don't even care.
It works.
She got hands. You know what I'm saying? Works for me. You know, look, this is being produced. This is where my concerns kicked in.
Okay.
All right. This is being produced by one of the dudes who used to helm DC movies.
Are we talking DC animated movies?
No.
So with that reaction, let's lean towards the live action section of choices here.
All right, here's the thing. So Walter Hamada, who originally was at New Line Cinema, and made his. This is the thing. This is why I'm kind of like this joint might be okay. So he really made his name in horror films.
Okay.
Annabelle,
Okay.
the Conjuring. Like he was cutting
Nothing
his teeth on
Sin's
that
watched.
stuff.
All that bullshit.
At exactly Sin's stuff you scared about. So he was doing that stuff for New Line Cinema. He got picked up by DC in like 2018 to start the helm. I mean, again, it was 2018. The most of the damage was done. So,
Mhm.
like, he went to DC in 2018 to kind of head that division. And then in like 2022, they announced that he was coming over to Paramount. And him coming over to Paramount was supposed to really be to push the horror stuff for Paramount.
Okay.
Got it.
And he had like a specific deal. Like I think it was like a 5-year deal or something like that with
Mhm.
them. I'd had to look to see again. Um, the horror aspect of it ended up intriguing me. I that
It does.
because I'll be honest, when I saw rated R, TMNT, Last Ronin,
Mhm.
I was like, bet. When I saw live action, I was like, no. I really honestly don't want this to be live action. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm not saying they can't, but bro, coming off the strength of like Invincible,
Mm.
Mhm.
what the 5th season of like Samurai Jack, bro, like there's a space for them to really do
Yeah.
this. I feel like there's still a fear around making adult animation and putting it in the theater because it feels too mainstream.
Mhm.
Right now, they're still just afraid and experimenting with only doing that kind of stuff in streaming. You know what I'm like? They'll do it on Prime, they'll do it on Netflix, but they're not. And again, and I get that to an extent because if you say Ninja Turtles and animated and theater, it's gonna be parents who are like, "Oh, let's go see the new Ninja Turtles joint."
Like, pump your
Like,
brakes.
hold, pump your brakes.
This
See
ain't
that? You
where you
see
want
that
to take them
R?
to.
You see that R right there? You do not want to take your little ones into this one
Not this one,
because
sweetheart.
somebody's losing their head multiple times, probably.
But that's the thing. A live adaptation, there's a part of me that feels like they're not gonna say it's Ninja Turtles at all. I feel like they're gonna call it Last
Last
Ronin
Ronin and just leave it.
in some manner. Like they
Or
might
put
do
TMNT.
TMNT
Yeah, something
or
like that.
something like
Yeah.
that. But again, but
Mhm.
TMNT is like, but people, I think kids know that. I think kids know TMNT. So I'm interested in seeing
How they
how
handle
they
it.
handle the naming convention and so forth. Because even doing it live action, again, you have live action Ninja Turtle stuff that was made for children.
Mhm.
So this is not for them. This is for me. It is. The people who bought and enjoyed The Last Ronin are people who knew, I'm going to say, it's going to sound wrong, but it's true, the real Ninja Turtles. Like knew what Eastman and Laird's Ninja Turtles really was, how serious. Yeah, they played around, but like how, because they were teenage boys, but like how serious those comics got and the weight of the things that they discussed and dealt with. And they did banana stuff. Like there's still a Krang. They traveled to other planets. Like
Mhm.
it gets nuts. Don't get it twisted. But like even the ground level, we in New York fighting foot soldiers, Raphael getting jumped. It's the truth. See, Rich, that's what I'm talking about, G. It's it's for us, which means there's a lot of money to be made, but there's a lot of money to be lost in a project
Mhm.
like this. There
Yeah.
is. And so either way, whether you make it animated or you do a live action, you're you're gonna have to pour a lot of money into it, figure out what the marketing is, and work really hard to earn that money back. And when you're Nickelodeon Paramount and you can't not compare this to the last Ninja Turtles thing that got released in the theater. You can't. You also have to bear in mind that the new show, also that Jerry Gaylord worked on a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
right, is getting ready to come out based on the last movie that came out. So there's going to be a new animated show that exists in that world with Ninja Turtles, which stands to again repopularize these characters only for you to turn around and put out a live action movie where
rated R
all of
joint,
them are
yeah.
dead except one.
One.
Yeah.
And he's basically on a John Wick mission. And I want you to know, I'm not even going to tell you which turtle it is.
You gotta find that one
It
out.
beat the brakes off John Wick, dog. Hey, dog, this man is not playing games, bruh. It's real out here in these streets.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am
Nah,
too.
definitely.
I'm really looking forward to it.
They gonna mess it up. I want to
Hey,
animate.
don't say that.
Nah, they're gonna mess it up.
Don't say that.
Jokes. Listen, they're gonna mess it up. They will. Listen, and like it'll be messed up in the marketing. It'll be messed like they're gonna mess it up. They are.
I get what you're saying.
And it would be that way, honestly, even if it was animated. They're gonna mess it up, right? But I honestly believe that this is a thing that should be going straight to streaming services, and it shouldn't be on Paramount Plus, and it shouldn't be on Nickelodeon. This joint needs to go to Netflix or Prime, and they need to animate it and do it like it needs to be done. That's where I'm at. I just think it should be animated instead of them trying to do live action, because live action means a bunch of CG anyway.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because they're not going to. It ain't gonna be live action with the Muppet puppets. It's not. It's gonna be like the Michael Bay joints in some manner. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna. I
get it.
Anyway.
Actually, one last Ninja Turtle thing while we're on this. Hey, Sin, did you look at the joint that I sent to you with the TMNT and WWE crossover?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So it's funny, like all this TMT stuff is happening right now. They got a partnership with WWE, and they're going to release some of the stars are going to be like as the turtles or in specific outfits that make them look like them.
What up, Zay?
Cody Rhodes is going to be Casey Jones. Roman Reigns is going to be Shredder. Seth Rollins is Leonardo. Rey Mysterio is Raphael. Kofi Kingston is Michelangelo, and Xavier Woods is Donatello. So I probably will get them Jones.
What do you mean? Get what?
Oh, they're figures. They're actual figures.
Oh, all right.
Seth,
I mean,
Ray, Kofi, and that's a crazy combination. Okay.
Hey,
I mean,
that's a crazy.
Again.
Hey, Sam, I got a question too. Is it just me, or is my man Joe so far behind right now? Is it just me?
Yeah.
I think it's just you.
It's just me. Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's
it's
like
yours.
It's cool, whatever's doing to you, that was yours.
Okay, because Cindy, you're fine. His show's moving like a mile an hour.
No, it's clean.
We good.
Yeah, whatever.
Couple more things, so we can bow out. I saw an article earlier this week that said that Gen Z prefers anime over pro sports.
Yay for anime.
It makes sense to me. My question is, why?
Maybe that's more so what they've grown up on in this, nowadays than sports. Like animes.
Gen Z don't touch grass.
That's also
That's
also a big.
They don't touch grass.
You're right. And if they want to watch sports, they watch anime sports.
And it's like our kids and stuff like that. Growing up, and we're putting them on the stuff we were into. So a lot of them putting their kids on the anime, and they've been growing up with it, and now they're getting these great shows.
It's a shift.
Titan and yeah.
It's just a shift.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that? I think that there is, especially in this country, like when we talk about, we do our panel, we talk about being comfortable being a geek.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't intending for this to get kind of serious, but it's going to get a little bit serious. We do our panel being comfortable being a geek. We talk about like whether or not people had parents that were geeks, were into Star Trek or were into, whatever, stuff like that, and how it affects you and all that. I talk about, like I joke about it, but it's kind of true. Like my kids didn't really have a choice because it was around. It's just going to be around, whatever. Um, Sports is different. Um, Cuddy said they wasn't told get out the house and come back before the street lights come on like us. I mean, correct. Um, I think errors that came before Gen Z, when it comes to sports, a lot of kids were forced into it
Mm-hmm.
in multiple ways. Whether it was PE, or whatever, like kids were just forced into it, right? Like you're a boy, you have to know and play sports, you have to be into it. If your dad's in the football, you're in the football. And that's not to say that there aren't like flags and jerseys or whatever up
Mm-hmm.
and around. It's one thing to be a huge fan. It's another thing to, like, we've seen stories told over and over again in TV shows and movies and whatever, where like the parent is like living their dream through the kid that they made play pee-wee football, and the
Yeah.
kid's actually really good, but maybe doesn't even really like it, and they kind of
Heart
get
not in it.
forced into it in these practices and these, whatever. Where it's like liking anime is just like, oh, I like it because I like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, my
Mm-hmm.
folks watch it or whatever, but like they not necessarily forcibly sitting you down
Mm-hmm.
to live their dream of being the next Hokage through you. Like my baby is
Right.
gonna be the next Hokage. You hear me? Like it's not.
Right.
That's not a
You're gonna
thing. Like
find One
sports,
Piece.
yeah. Like sports isn't just like a pastime, an activity. It's like a mental, like it is an escape for a lot of people. Like in a monetary, like yo, this is your way out. This is how you're gonna get out of the hood. This is how you're gonna make it. This is how you go, whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
those things were forced upon our generations. You're going to do these things and like these things and love this thing because you're our ticket. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to be our way. You're going to, and I'm not saying there aren't plenty of kids who did it and enjoyed it and loved it, but some of them didn't have a choice either way, even if they did end up loving it. Maybe some of them are thankful for it in some manner, even if in the back of their heads, they're also filled with resentment because, yep, they learned the thing and they got well and they're doing well. But then you see so many people do well and go into a sport and like they wilding out, still doing stupid stuff, selling drugs, popping guns off, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Bob says no, but I think there's something to be said for the fact that the pressure has changed from parents to child to peers. Now it's like this or be a social pariah. I mean, to an extent. I think a lot of that pressure though is just regular social pressure. Like there isn't a thing anywhere in terms of like pop culture. And when I say that, I mean anime and comics and TV and
Mm-hmm.
movies and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
that exists the same way that like football in Texas runs entire small towns,
Big
Mm-hmm.
facts.
runs
Yeah.
their towns, runs their schools. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Their schools, like
Like,
those football like schools down there, they're like are better than some
um,
colleges the way that this stuff is set up
Oh
down
I
there.
no,
mean,
100%.
It's insane. Yeah.
but it is, they live, breathe it, speak it. Anthony said there's more exposure to anime now than it was back when most anime we had to buy it or rent it. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
It's much easier to get your hands on it.
Yeah.
But I also think that the parents who are parenting now, again, we're bridging that. Like if you're 35, you had Toonami. You just did. You came up on it. And so like, you know, anybody under that had
Yeah.
access. Like just easy access,
Just turn it
free
on.
access.
Come on,
Forget
Toonami's on.
Crunchyroll and paying for
Yep.
that away. Yeah, just like it was there. And more importantly, because we had access to it, but we didn't know it was anime.
Mm.
there was stuff they were showing us that it was like we didn't know that that's what it was. We didn't even know there was a difference because they didn't allow it to be
That
even
type, yeah.
close to being as grown up, as it was. So it's just handled very differently. And I just think that there was a time where it was like, nah, like if it's a Saturday, if it's a Sunday, if it's Monday night, are you ready for some football? Like they singing it to us, dog. Like they making it church.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. G said some high schools in Texas have like 3 to 5 football teams. Correct. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's like if you don't do football, it's something
That's
wrong
it.
with you.
Yeah.
How can you
mean
not?
you don't want to do no football?
What you mean you don't know these plays? What you mean you don't know these? Like it's it's ingrained from the very, and like I'm positive it's people that hate it and just don't know. But it's like a cult.
Absolutely.
It just is. So sure. There's a generation that now is like the generations that are raising those generations and are leading those charges and are making that content. I mean, again, now, like, if you look at what the Chargers do, every year they put out an anime when they introduce their new, like
Your new
when they
schedule.
every year when they it's like they do an anime.
Hey, bro,
It's
these
just and so the
football teams,
people who
baseball
are
teams doing.
playing football are also like, look, dog, there are football players playing professional football in the NFL who are doing interviews and they're asking them about stuff and they like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, you haven't seen it? And they like, after practice, I just go home and watch anime. I don't do nothing else.
Yep. That's my guy.
That's all I do.
I'm watching Pokemon. Like, leave me alone.
I watch anime and then I go work out and then I play the game. Like I play my game and then I go home and I watch anime. That's what I do. It's just, that's what it is. It's just very different. And I think that they're giving them, it's giving, basically. What is coming down
Listen,
to.
man, I think some of the sports are trying to lean super heavy into it because, like, now, like, I didn't send you One Piece is partnered with like multiple football teams, multiple baseball teams, having One Piece night. You get the bobble, you get the bobblehead with Luffy holding a baseball bat. Like
I mean, think about it. You got teams called Pirates, and they whole squad is Pirates.
Funny enough, it wasn't the Pirates though.
Should have been. That'd been
Somebody missed that boat.
It was like the Red Sox or something like that.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anime's getting so big. It's look, it's taking over Times Square now. Like we're seeing that a little bit more regular now. Like, do what the NFL's doing. Hey, how can we work? How can we work with whatever show to? Let's do something with Jujutsu Kaisen. People see that everywhere.
I was about to say a comment. Speaking, you brought up Jujutsu Kaisen. In the latest issue for Nightwing that came out, they drew Itadori in the comic. Like he's literally in the comic. Yeah, dead ass.
Like a real person, or like he was.
Yeah, like, this dude like went and picked up a pizza and is like walking. You see him walking down the street.
He's like in the background and stuff like people do.
But you can tell the tent, like the full getup, the red collar. It's him. The pink hair, it's him.
Okay.
I mean, or it could just be somebody who loves anime that much. They dress like them because
you know what?
Do that.
It could be.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
but still that influence. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna ask you a question. Like maybe it's happened, but when's the last time a football team took over Times Square? Andrew said, not even anime. Put that back up.
Sorry.
Andrew said, not even anime. They had SpongeBob commentate the Super Bowl. I mean,
hey, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. The SpongeBob joke was probably better than the actual damn commentators.
You're not the only person I heard say that about that.
I believe it. But look, again, those are the kinds of things that they're doing to try to get people who don't care about sports, don't care about football, to watch. They're trying to get them into it. You're talking about these sports that whole states rely on to make money off of their sports and the sports teams, and like ratings dropping and people not buying season tickets and all that kind of stuff. So how do we bridge that gap? Oh, we got to go out and partner with the thing that people are watching more than they're watching this. You know what I mean? That's where it is. So it makes sense to me. And I think that there are people who are smart enough to see it because they're in positions of power now, controlling the marketing and that kind of stuff, where they weren't. That wasn't a thing before. Um, all right, let's get ready to get out of here. Um, I'm gonna do something a little different than what I normally do. We're gonna start trying this to see how it works. Giving out a little homework. We're gonna have a special guest on next week's show. We're gonna be joined by Jonah Loeb, who is a brilliant artist. Is responsible for the Marvel Anatomy books, but also is the character slash creature designer for Fallout and Skyrim. So we're gonna have him come on specifically to talk about his new project, which is called Quiet Level 1. We did shoot an interview with Jonah at AwesomeCon, and we talked a little bit about that. But Quiet specifically has some autistic traits, like he doesn't speak. And again, with us rounding out Autism Month, next week, we thought it'd be a good time to have him on. But obviously, we're gonna talk some Fallout and stuff like that too, because like if you have the opportunity to talk to the person who designed the creatures, we're gonna do it, especially with the way the Fallout show is like popping right now. However, I'm gonna leave a little homework for my gamers out here. I just want y'all to come with some ideas. I want to know how we can make achievements and trophies better. I want some ideas and thoughts around what you think when they first hit. I thought it was one of the most incredible, brilliant things that had ever been done to games. When them joints hit Xbox, it was like, now I have this whole other game within a game to reach for, this thing to try to get these achievements, that endorphin rush of the sound popping off and you seeing it pop on screen and getting a certain number of points when it happens. And it's still there a little bit, but I feel like people don't even, like, it used to be a major thing when people go check the achievements and see what kind of stuff it is. And sometimes they weren't great at it yet. They had achievements that was snitching on what's going on in the story and stuff like that, right? But like, I feel like it's time, as weird, like that was 360 era. So we're talking 2006. We're almost 20 years away. That was 2005 actually when the 360 came out. So we're 20 years removed from when that started. And not a lot has happened, with that. And Microsoft is talking about new consoles. PlayStation is talking about PlayStation 5 Pro, which means that clearly there's going to be PlayStation 6, or there's a part of me that feels like they're actually not going to call the next PlayStation 6. That's a different conversation to have.
Okay.
But I think it's time to go away from the numbers and talk platform, because I think it's going to be, again, they're going to start to get in that place where it's like it's less about the box. That's a different discussion. But yeah, start thinking about what kind of things you would like to see, because I want to kind of jump back into that conversation when we come back next week. So what kind of stuff do you want to see change about achievements and trophies? What kind of stuff would you like to see implemented? Do you even care? Did you used to care? What would get you back into it? And like, I'll be honest, like, I'm looking for things that are like more thought out than, like, you should actually get like real stuff for doing achievements. Like, that's that's a thing they actually tried. Like, I would like to see some ways that maybe things could be incorporated or put in place that maybe make sense. So take some time, think about it. You got a week, and we'll reconvene on that one next week after we have our discussion with Jonah. I do not know if Jonah is going to, or even if he wants to stay for the whole show, but we know we'll get him in and we'll have a good discussion with him at the beginning of the show. So if you can, try to tune in early so you don't miss Jonah before we get into our discussion about achievements. I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure we could do a whole show just about that. I'll be honest, just by saying, like, I think it's time for Nintendo to get on the bandwagon. But I digress. Andrew says, adios, fellas. Hope the rest of your week treats you well. Same to you again. I wishing you a speedy recovery, man. Thank you for jumping in, hanging out with us this week. Next Monday, Loading Snacks Movie Club is having the discussion for Ready Player One. Right, Jokes?
Yes, sir.
8 o'clock next Monday. This Wednesday, something going on with the finisher.
Yep. So we're gonna be recording a new episode Wednesday night. So you guys will be able to have that first or some point during the weekend. Probably going to come to you on Saturday. Also later in the week, we're gonna be recording a prediction show for AEW Dynasty. And if time permits, we will be having a couple of guests joining us for that. You guys have seen them already from the Awesome Mania podcast, Ben and Michael. So as long as time permits, they're going to be alongside with us to do. Matter of fact, there you go, right there. These guys are awesome. Ironically, we met at Awesome Con.
Yep.
And since then, we've been doing a couple things together. Ben joined us when we did the post show.
I'll be there. You be
after-
there. That's right.
My man. We're having a good time. Please, when that drops, go on there, comment on it. Let us know what your predictions are. Just know these gentlemen are going to be alongside of us for a lot of other things going forward in the future. Two awesome guys, Awesome Mania podcast. Make sure you check them out. Solid work that they got going on.
Sin.
Si, senora.
Thriller Park, bro.
That's right. This Thursday, episode 16 through 18 of Parasite the Maximum. We're getting closer to the end here. Things have been picking up, but they continue to pick up every single week that we watch this. Great times. Even when I ain't seen how it ends yet, I still would recommend this. We're loving this thing every week and all excited to see how this is all going to come to a close. And honestly, after this, I'm probably going to stay out and watch the live action one.
Live action one.
Yeah. It's intriguing enough to be like, okay. So that's pretty cool. I actually had a chance to meet the voice actor of Miki over the weekend. And she was doing the voice of Miki while she was talking to us. And
hey, we're talking to her.
It was just a little bit creepy because it's an alien parasite hand that stares at you. Like, it was weird, but it was pretty cool. So, yeah, Thriller Park this week, 9:30, Thursday, episode 16 through 18. Join us.
Last week, we recorded a special Spoiler Boys discussing X-Men 97 for episodes 4 and 5. It's not live yet. It will be probably tomorrow. We were fortunate enough to have Jerry Gaylord, who again is one of the storyboard artists, join us for that discussion to get, we got to get some of that insight, some of that like insider knowledge. Was really cool. Great discussion. We also had a friend of the show, Adam Butler, on, who is a huge X-Men fan. Has his own podcast called The Butler Did It. It's not about X-Men. It's just about life stuff, but like, you should definitely check him out. But so they joined us for that. They will be joining us again. So as the remainder of the show goes out, we will be recording every Friday and putting out those episodes for you to be able to go back and get insight from us if you have not been watching X-Men 97.
Oh, fix yourself.
I'm taking my hat off.
Oh my God, fix yourself.
You're missing some of the best TV ever made. I'm just gonna say it like that. And like they're talking like, oh, you thought episode 5?
Episode 5? Oh,
wait till you see 6 through. Hold on. Are you threatening me?
Oh, it was a threat. It was a threat.
So I'm in there. I'm really excited for tomorrow's episode.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Because I'm gonna get up and watch
real
that
out there.
before I go to work.
I listen. I can't. I'm about to put this up. I'm about to drop that joint for everybody right now. I'm about to just put it out because our thoughts on episode 4 and 5 discussed in that package. But episode 5 is crazy. But what it did in terms of the discussion that we had about what it means going forward, and I ain't even spill all of what I think is happening. But I will tell you that I'm almost positive that like the actual villain in this show we haven't seen yet.
I can
And
agree
that
with
is
that.
I'm almost positive it's the same villain from Deadpool and Wolverine. Like I'm just because of what they did in that last episode. And I ain't even talk about that. But that was like, I know Jerry knows stuff because he's seen the script, and
Of course.
I ain't trying to like, I don't even want to look at his eyeballs and like have
Right.
put myself on spoiler boys.
Tell Jerry wear sunglasses the whole entire time, or put on his Cyclops goggles.
Remember it. Yeah. So
Been a tough viewing week.
Sorry, Sam. You
yeah.
haven't
And if
been having a good time
look,
this week.
I'm not. Television
if
is
you're
failing
not
me.
watching Fallout or haven't watched Fallout, highly recommend it. We haven't quite decided on doing the spoiler boys on that yet, but we're working on something, so maybe that's happening. But it is not only is it really good, it's like surprisingly good because I mean it's Fallout. Like
Yeah.
2 episodes.
they did 2 episodes in.
Hey, just sit there. Just don't, after we finish here, just go ahead and watch those other 3 episodes.
Well, nah, I don't know. Is he talking about Fallout? Or is he talking about
talking about Fallout or X-Men? Yeah.
Thing. Jokes, you got a job to do while waiting on Kate to respond. If you would go ahead and get that Beacons link up, please drop the merch link again. Listen,
I'm still going through Ninja Kamui, and I've heard great things about Shogun.
Shogun, I started. However, I was trying to let it run while I was doing other stuff, and I can't. Okay, 2 episodes in the Fallout. Yeah, keep right on moving through that.
Yeah, I've seen the first 4. I gotta hit episode 5 up.
Ninja Kamui. It's roundabout the way I like my anime, which is saying something. Won't say no more than that right now. That Star Trek Discovery is slaying right now. Is that right, Jokes? Because you the Star Trek guy, and I ain't heard you say a word.
Hey, listen, I've been watching. I had to slow down and watch because I forgot for a minute this season 5 had started, and they connected something of Discovery back to an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation that if you're a fan and you hear some things come out, you're kind of going to be like, So
I mean, I haven't watched any Discovery, but you know I'm a TNG guy, so
yeah. So I can see they're planning on making sure that season 5 goes out on the high note. So far, each episode has been perfectly fine, and I'm liking where the story is going.
I like that. Sin, you got a job to do.
Yes, so let's shout out our top tier patrons. Started with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
It's an absolute fact. We certainly do. Might be time to go be Bimmy and Jimmy. Woo, if you know, you know.
He said, hands. I gotta touch something.
Just saying. Thank you so much to everybody who hung out with us, who jumped in the chat. Look, we're so close to hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. Just tell your folks, tell a friend to hide your kids, hide your wife,
and hit please, the subscribe if you're
button
watching and you haven't hit subscribe, if you haven't hit the subscribe button for some weird reason, please click the link and go hit the subscribe button.
Yeah. Like, do it. Again, check out the Cal Dodd interview. It is linked in the description on here, but it was just a really good time. We had a good conversation, and I'd appreciate it if y'all went and took a look at it because it took a little bit of finagling to make that interview happen.
It was good enough finagling that was happening. Sam, I see you holding on to mommy over there. It's okay. It'll be okay, Sam.
She get beat up. All right, with that, Jokes, tell the people what I need them to hear.
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we are out. Toodles and loos.
snacks